It's May 15th, 2020.
And this is Nerd Bourbon episode 154. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
Hello, Todd. How are we doing? How are we feeling?
Living the dream. It's another day in paradise.
We just got done mere moments ago with a very special birthday party.
Oh, yes.
We should talk about that because I think that's actually kind of interesting. We just got done. So my wife's birthday is today at the time of this recording. Yesterday at the time you're listening to this. But her birthday was this week, and of course, because of all of the corona bullshit, normally I like to go and take her out and do a little something for her birthday. Mm-hmm. I took her to the zoo one time to have a rhino encounter. I took her to Galveston last year.
I remember the pictures of that rhino encounter.
That was a really cool time, actually. I would have loved to do that again, or something like that, but, of course, with all this going on, we haven't been able to do anything, so I wanted to do a little something to make her birthday special, and as you all well know by now, I've put a ton of time into Animal Crossing New Horizons. My island is very well developed. I've got a 5-star island, but I had a space on my island that was unoccupied, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it, and then the idea hit me. I should make it a venue where I can display the holiday items. With Animal Crossing, you get various, holiday items like the Bunny Day shit that we just got. There's going to be like Halloween items, Christmas items. I wanted like a spot where I can kind of have like little parties with friends and have like the decorations displayed and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm going to make an outdoor venue, right?
You do know we got to do a Halloween thing, right?
Oh, yes. We're absolutely doing a costume
I'll be
party.
honest. There was multiple moments during this little birthday party where I'm like, damn, I should be recording.
I thought about trying to get that set up, but there's already so many moving parts that I was
it would have been actually not too bad for me.
Well, you could have just on OBS, you could have just grabbed the Discord audio and fed it.
It would have been easy for me.
On your end, it would have been easy. The audio quality would have been leaving something to be desired, but whatever.
It still would have been a thing.
I had the idea to make it a venue, and I was like, okay, what better way to celebrate her birthday in quarantine or whatever than to celebrate it in Animal Crossing. So I knew that there was birthday items in the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And through a series of illicit activity, I managed to acquire some.
Reddit?
Yes. And I managed to acquire some.
Went to the deep, dark web.
The dark web of Animal Crossing is real. And I managed to kind of set this up in a nice kind of decorated birthday setup and took plenty of pictures, had fun. I made a little treasure hunt game for you guys. I essentially buried like 12 items.
I was second place.
I gave you guys kind of a 10-minute timer. Turned out you only needed like 5 minutes between the four of you.
We rocked that shit, honestly.
And I buried 12 items around. It included, full bell bags with like 99,000 bells, star fragments, gold nuggets, rare and expensive furniture items and stuff like that. So
I sleep like a king now.
With your new imperial bed.
Yes.
You now have a bed worthy of housing your ass.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time though. You were there. Buddy Provost was there. My little sister Hope, who just recently even had like a reliable internet connection to where she could even come and play. So that she was kind of a surprise guest, and it was just fun. Like we all got on Discord and chatted, and it was just a good time, man. It was just fun, and she really enjoyed it. We all brought presents.
Yeah, all bought presents. I even made a sacrifice for one of them, for mine.
Gave her a fossil that she didn't have.
Yeah, it was definitely a fossil I could have donated, but it's like, whatever. I was like, fuck it.
It was just nice. It was just nice to have. I've never had that many people on my island at the same time, which was a blessing and a curse.
There was moments. There was moments of lag. Moments.
Really?
I noticed that there was actually the one moment where all of us, I think, tried to do something, and it was just nothing. Nothing happened.
Ah.
Because I was trying to sit down on this fucking stone, and it just was like, fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get much of that because I was obviously just sort of observing.
Yeah.
And just kind of overseeing the party and everything, but it was nice. We hung out in my home arcade for a little while, and it was just kind of nice, and she really appreciated it.
I should have took a picture of my stupid ass sitting there in the dark corner.
Making that, like, creepy face.
Dude, it was so good. That was the one thing. I learned some very cursed shit. The face paint was my favorite.
Oh, that was awful. I hate that you learned that. I hate that you learned how to do that. But anyway, it was a good time. It was a fun experiment. I've never really done anything like that before, and it was good. It was nice. She really appreciated it, and definitely would do it again. So, looking forward to having future events in that venue. Halloween costume party is 100% gonna happen, like 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a good time.
Anyway, besides Animal Crossing birthday parties, Todd, what have you been playing?
Very much, basically the same shit. I can say I've played a little more Call of Duty actually, but I played actually a little Call of Duty at the time of this recording earlier today.
Yeah.
Ended up playing with a buddy from work. Actually got the Renetti's Burst and Akimbo. So
have they added anything new to the game? Like recently, or
they added a new operator, I guess.
Okay, I haven't been keeping up with it.
But the main thing that I was like looking forward to, and the main reason I kind of like fell off it when they first brought in the Rafikas, essentially, the good old triple burst pistols, bro. They are OP as shit.
I remember you telling me that.
No, it's even worse now. You understand? Because I actually have used them.
Yeah.
Because originally I had because the way they do it is it's one of the last barrel modifications that you unlock it. Like I think it's like you got to get to like weapon level 46 with the Renetti, and at that point you get the burst mod. But at that time I already had it akimbo, so when you get that shit akimbo, and oh fuck, just people walk in front of you, dead.
Dog
dead.
Rapist, huh?
It's pretty bad. I won't even lie. I felt bad, actually. I was like, oof. I'm still going to use them. But,
I know you're still working on Neo 2.
Yeah, so now I've done a complete playthrough of New Game Plus. Now I'm on a quest for, to join the 300 gang, which is the current max level.
Nice.
And I'm almost there. I'm at 255 right now. And I got my main stats that I wanted to get. You basically have enough. You can get basically 2 stats to 99, which is the max that you can get a stat to right now. You get 2 stats to that during it. So that's something I've already. That's the main thing I was working on. And then I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to chase the platinum. I'm close. I could easily do it. But then the other part of me is like, I really don't care to use ninjutsu. And that's probably the only thing I'm like, that's actually the only Mystic Art trophy that I'm missing.
But it would join that rarefied club of...
It would join the rarefied club of me actually getting it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just me even having the thought should say something about this game. I really love it. Yeah, the one thing I've never actually experimented with every single weapon type. And in Neo 1, I didn't do it. This game, I definitely did.
Nice.
Got a good feel for about every single weapon in the game. And they're all fun in their own way. I still kind of found myself back to where I started in Neo 2, which is I was using the Odachi, which was my main weapon. When they added that into Neo 1, that became my main weapon. It's a better weapon, I think, in this game versus what it was in Neo 1. But then also the newer weapon of the Switchglaive. I actually ended up going back to that with I replaced it with the spear for a little bit, and then I just brought it back to the switchglaive. And that shit gets hilarious when you actually get all the skill, like a good amount of skills into that shit. The combo potential on that shit is hilarious. You're just switching between like the stances and like the different like forms on it. Oof, it's filthy. But yeah, other than that, that's about it. Sooner or later, maybe next week, I'll probably be able to talk about Doom. Well, who knows? Don't keep me to that. Don't hold me to that shit, because it's just, we'll see.
See what happens. The heart wants what the heart wants, Todd. There's a lot for me. This is kind of actually a big month, but I know after Neo, I know it's kind of slowed down for you for at least a little while. So
I'll be able to do some shit
whenever you decide to put Neo to bed. Whenever that day comes. No, for me, the only thing really worth talking about is the Wonderful 101 Remastered, which I finally got my Kickstarter code. I think I can't remember if it was last week or the week before I was bitching about that. But they finally sent out my code. It was actually funny because when they first sent out the codes, the email was just blank. Like, they're like, here's your Kickstarter code or whatever, and there was just nothing. So I had to wait for them to like resolve the issue and resend the codes. But no, finally got it. It took I'll say this, it took forever to download. I'm assuming because of all the Kickstarter backers trying to download at the same time, but it literally took me probably 14 hours to download. And I have good internet. It would never take me that long to download anything else. But anyway, as for the game itself, it's funny because I never played this game back on Wii U, which is where it was originally released and sort of stranded up until now. And it's a really interesting game. There are obviously some holdovers, from the Wii U. You can tell that this is a port of a Wii U game. But I think they've actually done some pretty clever things to make it very, very playable still, even though it isn't on the Wii U. So a good example of that. So the whole thing with the Wii U obviously is you have the gamepad, the Wii U gamepad, separate from the TV screen. They've kind of incorporated dual screen functionality in a way where if you want to turn that on, you can hit the minus button and a kind of mini subscreen that has some transparency to it will pop up on the screen. So you kind of still get that experience a little bit if you want it. Personally, I just leave it off. As for one of the central mechanics of the game, so if you don't know, the whole conceit of the Wonderful 101 is it's essentially this very over-the-top Japanese Saturday morning cartoon Super Sentai Power Rangers ass shit, right? And you have this group of 100 people who are all superheroes, and they do what's called unite forms and unite morphs to create either a giant fist or a giant sword or a giant gun or a whip or something like that. Use it for both puzzle solving and combat. To access these different forms, they sort of adopt almost a little bit of their Okami heritage, where you actually have to draw the icon. So for a fist, you have to draw a circle. For a sword, it's a straight line. For a gun, it's an L shape, very it's pretty intuitive. It makes sense and everything, but it feels a lot more naturalistic, obviously, if you were to be using a touchpad to do that. But using the right stick with a Pro Controller, it feels fine, and you don't have to do it frequently enough to be annoying. But, other than that, if you already played the game, you kind of know what to expect. It's an over-the-top platinum action game. I'll say this, the game is pretty fucking hard.
Huh.
It's actually fairly hard, may be the wrong word. I'm playing the game on the normal difficulty. It's really unforgiving. I'll say that. It's very, if you fuck up, it's pretty annoying to kind of regain your footing in combat, because when you take a hit, not only do you lose health, also all of your other members of your team kind of fall off of you, and you have to go and gather them back up.
Oh fuck, okay.
So that kind of is annoying. You could wait a few seconds and and they'll kind of get back up and rejoin the group and stuff, but it's sort of another thing that this game loves to do, especially with the bigger enemies. We talk about this with the Soulsborne games, delayed attacks. There are a lot of delayed attacks.
That right there is like my fucking bane in Soulsborne games.
Yeah, so this game has plenty of that, and there's also a little bit of like a rock paper scissors kind of thing where it's like, okay, if an enemy is using a laser beam, I need to switch to sword form so that I can use it to block the laser beam and deflect it back to them. If the enemy is using like a charge attack, I need to go into the unite guts mode and defend against it and stuff like that. So you have all these different abilities available to you, and the game doesn't do a super good job of like kind of telling you what you need to do when, so you kind of just have to figure it out. Game kind of throws you in the deep end with no floaties, but you know, once you kind of learn your way around the game and the game's bullshit, basically, it's a good time. It runs well. I'll say this: the graphics are essentially exactly as they were on Wii U, which is funny.
They didn't really like up it at all.
No, like I watched a comparison video, and it was indistinguishable for me. Like they just up-resed it to 1080p, I think, and I think that's it. But I mean, look, the game looks good. It's very stylized, right? It's very kind of cartoony. Like it didn't really need to look any better, especially, but it's fun. The writing's fun. I like all the characters and stuff like that. I'm definitely gonna play more of it. Having a good time. It's not like mind-blowing or anything, but I don't regret backing it. I don't regret, getting early access to it, and everything was cool. So I'll say this, the boss fights are great. I've done like 3 boss fights now, and they're all great so far. Platinum has always been so good at that with their action games. Just so good. Just really top quality boss fights. So that's pretty much all I have to say about it for now. Maybe if something changes, if I have some different opinion on it later, I'll talk about it again. But that's mostly it. It's been a lot of Animal Crossing, a little bit of Wonderful 101, and that's pretty much it. I've got a couple more games coming out at the end of the month, but for right now, that's all I've been playing. Are you ready, Todd, to move into some news?
I am.
Well, this was kind of hilarious because basically immediately after we recorded last week's show, where I was bitching about Lego Star Wars, pretty much right after, I had this whole tirade where I was bitching about them. How could you not have a release date ready for May the 4th? What the fuck, right? A trailer for the game was then mysteriously uploaded to the official Star Wars YouTube channel. Now, this video has since been removed, but this was not before fans saw that it did reveal an October 20th, 2020 release date for the game. The video being removed is a little bit suspicious to me because it either means that they weren't ready to announce the release date yet, or that is no longer the right release date. So I'm almost of the mind that maybe that's not the right release date anymore. I'm almost of the mind of like, maybe they were intending on dropping that new trailer with that release date on May the 4th, and then they're like, yeah, you know what, we need a little more time. So it wouldn't shock me one bit if we hear in like a month or two, they say, oh, the game's coming out in like November or December. Oh, we'll see. But I just thought that was funny. It was literally, I think Dan told me about it. He texted me
You instantly messaged me, I think, after you found out about, like, that's a final, like, kick in my balls, essentially.
I was like, son of a bitch, man. It was literally like 2 hours after we got done recording. I was like, fuck. So, anyway, that happened. We'll see what the release date actually ends up being. This is not official yet at all, because they did delete the video. So, clearly, for whatever reason, they don't want us to know the release date yet. Anyway, Ninjala, Todd, has been delayed due to coronavirus concerns, or so they say. According to developer Gung Ho Online Entertainment, the president of Gung Ho, Kazuki Morishita, had this to say in a press release. He says, quote, although we are working hard to launch Ninjala and release it to our fans, the health and safety of our employees is paramount. We apologize to our Ninjala fans who are eagerly anticipating its launch, and we ask for your understanding as we work to bring you the best game we can in this additional month. So yeah, essentially it was going to come out, I think, on the 28th of May, and now it's coming out on the 25th of June.
When you realize coronavirus is the biggest catch-all excuse.
It's funny you say that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, are you sure it's because of the coronavirus? Are you sure it wasn't because you had a disastrous beta?
Like, honestly, probably one of the worst betas I've seen in, like, years.
It was awful.
Dude, it was fucking... it was unplayable. For me, at least.
It was literally unplayable for many, many people.
So I was like, all right. Like, it was so unplayable. Like, I was like, I fucking stayed up for this? Fuck you.
Yeah, and then when I did finally get a chance to play a couple of games, I was like, the game's not even very good. Like, it's super random. There are several elements of the game that completely remove skilled play from it. It's like super annoying.
Like the premise of that game looked good on paper.
It's great. The premise is great. And I love the game's style. Like it was totally going for. Of course, was it kind of clearly aping Splatoon? Yeah, duh. Of course it was.
Oh, dude, that shit had like total Splatoon vibes with like the art style, design, and shit. But
that's okay because Splatoon is so unique. I was kind of okay with another, the Splatoon ripoff. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of good with that. There hasn't been a Splatoon ripoff yet. We can have one. Whatever the case may be, that game has another month in the oven. We'll see if they actually changed anything. I did notice that they already changed the logo for the game a little bit.
Oh, did they?
In the press release, they like had some imagery associated with it, and the logo is different. It's now, frankly, the new logo is kind of more boring. I don't really like it. So I wonder if they caught a little bit of heat. I wonder if they're trying to further distinguish the game from, because before the Ninjala it's kind of like in big bubbly yellow letters and stuff. Now it's just this kind of like silver lettering. It's a little more boring, to be honest. So we'll see what ends up happening with that game. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I do not have high hopes for this thing taking off in any real way, to be honest with you. We'll see. Anyway, Todd, are you ready to join me in taking a dump on Bethesda?
Oh Lord, what the fuck did they do now?
You know, we always kind of take the piss out of Bethesda a bit in the show, but
now here's the thing: do we do it, or do they do it to themselves? That's the real question.
Well, this week I get to serve them a hot plate of "I told you so." We have said many times on this show, but it is worth reiterating, Todd. You should not expect The Elder Scrolls 6 anytime soon. Bethesda's Pete Hines took to Twitter this week and said that fans should expect to see the game years from now. When a fan asked Hines when we could expect some more Elder Scrolls 6 details, Hines responded, quote, "It's after Starfield, which you pretty much know nothing about. So if you're coming at me for details now and not years from now, I'm failing to properly manage your expectations." End quote.
That's the thing. I don't understand why the fuck they teased it. It's the stupidest shit.
Yeah, I'm reading this tweet here and I'm like, managing expectations, huh? That's funny verbiage coming from the people who unveiled this game fully 2 years ago.
Fucking morons. And again, the fucking... I still laugh. I still think about it. Where it's just like all those idiots clapping.
Woo, Elder Scrolls 6! Yeah,
enjoy playing that. See? A fucking seagull? And a fucking mountain?
Like, enjoy playing that in 2024.
I swear to God, dude. That was the dumbest shit to me during that whole thing, like that E3 from like 2 years ago.
We will optimistically get Starfield maybe in 2021. Maybe. Yeah. After Starfield is finally out, we will start to get drip-fed some more Elder Scrolls 6 details. I do not expect to see this game any earlier than 2023, 2024.
That's my thing. Just hearing that shit, I'm just like, why? Why did you guys even just announce it? There was no point.
By the time the game finally comes out, it will probably be a period of about 7 years from the announcement.
Can I be honest? Like, as part of me is like, do I care about Bethesda? Like, they've been pretty, they haven't been batting 1,000.
No. Well, and it's funny because we talked about this, and again, we really take the piss out of Bethesda a lot here on the show. It's not out of some sort of deep-rooted hatred. It's more
Oh,
so
no,
just like...
I have such fond memories of like me during the summer, like years ago, playing the shit out of Elder Scrolls, 4 on my
Yeah.
fucking PC. Like I love the Elder Scrolls series for the most part, but it's like shit.
They have not. There have been a lot of missteps with Bethesda's games, and the name does not carry the same weight that it used to, sure.
Well, that's like the same thing with a lot of like developers, right? Like basically the main two that come to mind are it's basically Bethesda and now BioWare.
It's the ones we always talk about, right?
Yep.
We're always taking the piss out of Bethesda and BioWare. It's because we love them, and we love these IP, and we love these franchises, and we don't like to see them kind of be led astray. It's like,
you think I like treating you like this? As I'm like just slapping them across the face and shit.
You think I like this?
You think I want to do this to you? I love you.
This hurts me more than it hurts you.
Some real shit, dude.
Got like a belt in your hand. No, it's a real bummer. It was a total misstep, and I think we even talked about it literally when we were talking about Bethesda at E3 2018. It's like, why?
Dead ass why? And I still to this day I still talk shit about that. Like everybody's dumbass just standing up, and just fucking clapping. I'm like, what are you guys clapping for?
And that's the thing that annoys me reading this tweet from Pete Hines is just it comes off as like, why do you keep asking me about this? And it's like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's because you unveiled the game way too early. Now, every time you're going to be interviewed now, you're going to have a question about Elder Scrolls 6. Sorry. Shouldn't have revealed it when you did. That was a really stupid marketing decision.
It's so dumb.
And like we said, like the Bethesda name is so tarnished now that like when Starfield comes out, unless I read some like stellar reviews and they've completely...
I honestly don't know if I'll get it.
I'm very cautious about buying Bethesda games now. They are not day one purchases for me anymore. Unless
it's like I dead ass here, like this game's phenomenal. It's like Bethesda's got it, back and shit. But
yeah,
it's like Bethesda's still like even when Bethesda was there, they're still little buggy pieces of shit.
They've always it's like I've said for the past few years now. It's like you guys don't have an excuse anymore. I'm looking at CD Projekt, which is many times smaller than Bethesda. I'm looking at Techland, which is many times smaller than Bethesda. And when I played Dying Light...
You basically were like, wow. Yeah, like so many more side quests, essentially. Like, it was one of the main things you said.
Well, yeah, I was playing Fallout 4 and Dying Light at the same time. And I just remember I was like, they have no excuse. This game has got just as many like side quests. The world is just as detailed. There are like parkour mechanics. The game looks way better than Fallout 4.
Dude, Dying Light is like a solid fucking game, man.
And I'm just like, Bethesda has no excuse anymore. Look at The Witcher 3. You know what I mean?
Shit. Like, I've played The Witcher 3, I'll tell you, but that's probably one of the best games I've played to recent memory.
Like, The Witcher 3 is way more detailed than Fallout 4. Way more.
The Witcher 3, if I genuinely sat there, I could still be playing that game technically. I had to call it.
Yeah, way more. Just there's way more content in The Witcher 3. There's way more to do, way more detail. The game looks a lot better. The game's not buggy. Again, they cannot keep getting away with it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and I got to vote with my wallet at a certain point where it's like, unless I'm hearing that Starfield is like that, yeah, they've completely changed their ways. I mean, look, nobody wants to support a new Bethesda IP than me. I would love to be there day one, new Bethesda IP, sci-fi IP, let's fucking go. I'm all about it. But I'm not going to just blindly give them my money anymore because their name doesn't carry that weight for me anymore.
That's the thing with me, like there's certain developers for the most part where like I'm going to buy it day one. Yeah. FromSoft is still technically there, even though they burned me this last game.
You didn't like Sekiro.
Yeah. Didn't like is an understatement, but yeah.
I don't know. It's a bummer. I don't know why they announced the game so early. I don't like the sort of like the sort of like, I'm like, you asked for this, you know? Managing expectations, my ass. Yeah, I think you've just slightly failed to manage expectations there a little bit. So anyway, TLDR, don't expect Elder Scrolls 6 anytime soon, and don't bug Pete Hines for details about it, apparently, because he's like, you still need to learn about Starfield, which you basically know nothing about. It's like, well, yeah, no shit. I don't know, man. It's bizarre what they're doing over there. Anyway,
can I say something? When the fuck are we gonna get Elden Ring?
Elden Ring, that's another thing. I'm like, when are we gonna hear some word about that? Although, wasn't that just revealed? Was that revealed at E3 last year? I think so.
Let me make sure. It was announced at E3 2019.
Yeah, so I mean, it hasn't even been quite a year yet. I can give them a little bit of a pass, but I do think we need to hear more about Elden Ring before the end of the year. We need some gameplay. Show me some damn gameplay. Anyway, speaking of E3, actually, as we well know by now, the show has been canceled this year, and many of the industry's big publishers are holding their own digital events in the wake of the cancellation. Ubisoft is the latest publisher to reveal their E3 plans in the form of Ubisoft Forward, which is a fully digital event taking place on July 12th at 12 p.m. Pacific. They're promising exclusive news, reveals, and more, with further details coming soon. What do you expect from Ubisoft?
It's a dumb name.
Ubisoft Forward, that is a dumb name. You got any expectations? What do you think they have?
Are we going to see another gameplay trailer?
In air quotes. They've got to know. They have got to know the fan feedback of that. Like, if they have anything less than an actual proper hands-on gameplay demo during Ubisoft Forward of Assassin's Creed,
I'm not even gonna buy Valhalla. No, I'm just.
They've got to. They've got to have an actual gameplay demo. I think we need to see more about these games. Remember, recently, like maybe 6 months ago or so, a lot of games got delayed. Mm-hmm. Where we should have, by all accounts, already been playing Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, and Rainbow Six Quarantine by now. They all got delayed. So I think we need updates on those.
I forgot about Gods and Monsters.
Yeah, all of those games were supposed to be out in first quarter 2020. Like, they were all supposed to be out by April, and all of them were delayed. So I feel like we have to learn more about all of those games. I think we need to. I think for their sake, I think they kind of have to get Watch Dogs out by fall. Mm-hmm. I know Assassin's Creed is coming out this fall, and that's probably going to be their big megaton hit. But I think they'd be pretty smart to have Watch Dogs there. That's not the kind of game that you want to germinate too long. You don't want to let that game hemorrhage development costs for too long, because that game, the Watch Dogs series, the first game sold really well. Watch Dogs 2 was a little bit more soft in terms of sales, and they were a little bit disappointed in the sales. It was kind of up in the air.
I think there was a reason for that, because it's just like Watch Dogs 1 was disappointing as fuck.
Well, I don't even know if it was that as much as it was Watch Dogs 1 was a right place, right time kind of thing.
You think?
It was like they put that game out when there was really nothing else out.
That usually saves some shit, yeah.
I think that's really what it boiled down to for Watch Dogs. I think that sold so many extra copies because they're just like, I'm so glad I don't have to fucking play nothing but Destiny anymore. You know?
God. Fucking Destiny.
That's pretty much all we had in early 2015. We basically had Destiny and Watch Dogs until we had later that year. I think we had Arkham Knight or something like that. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah.
When you're talking about early 2015, in that time frame, Watch Dogs was about it, and I think everybody kind of bought it because of that. And yeah, it was a completely disappointing game.
No, I'm not. I actually like Watch Dogs 2.
Watch Dogs 2 was really good. And didn't sell horribly or anything. I think it ended up selling a few million copies, but it was not what they thought it was going to be. So it was kind of up in the air. Are we going to do another Watch Dogs? Blah blah blah. And then they revealed Legion, and Legion looks really fucking cool, but it's super ambitious, right? And that game is not cheap to develop. So that's the kind of game that you just want to like get out and like stop dumping money into. That's the kind of game that you need the return on the investment like relatively soon. So I think they would do well to have Watch Dogs out this year, but we'll see. We saw practically nothing of Gods and Monsters and Rainbow Six Quarantine before those both got delayed, so we will see. I think we need to see all of that. I think this is going to be another year with no Beyond Good and Evil 2. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is another one of those games where I'm like, dude, they made it so clear to me that game is not going anywhere anytime soon.
That game, yeah.
It was when they had like fucking Joseph Gordon-Levitt taking the stage, being like, "We want all of you to make art for the game." I'm like, "Oh God, it's like that."
That wasn't just art, my boy.
Music too.
It was music. It was all a bunch of shit, dude. And it was just like, you're just like, ooh, no.
It's like, hey, we have a tech demo, but we want all of you to be making art for the game and shit. I'm like, oh man, it's really, you guys are doing this, huh? This game is really far out.
Yeah, it's like, oh fuck.
So that's another one where I'm like, I'm gonna be playing that and fucking Elder Scrolls 6 in 2024, I guess. Cool. Anyway, moving right along, Todd. Summer Game Fest rages on this week with a couple of exciting reveals, actually. So on Tuesday, a remastered bundle of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, aka the industry's worst kept secret of the year, was revealed. I'm actually really excited about this. You know, I'm a big Tony Hawk fan, as you well know, Todd. Those games sort of defined my music taste. That's some real shit. I would credit a large portion of my musical taste to these two games. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Like, in terms of, like, the punk rock, like, sort of area of my musical tastes, certainly Tony Hawk had a lot to do with that. So I'm excited. Excited about that. These two classic games, they're coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC on September 4th, 2020, which is also my birthday. So happy birthday to me. By the way, I made a post about this on Facebook where I had a picture of the game's box art, and it said like September 4th, and I said happy birthday to me on it, right? And there were a lot of people that assumed when I said that I was saying that today was my birthday, that like May 12th or whatever was my birthday.
Oh.
And I was like, oh shit, no, like that's not what I meant, damn it. No, September 4th is my birthday, and that's when the game is coming out. It's going to have updated 4K visuals. By the way, it looks like they've completely remade this game. Like the trailer, it's a great trailer, by the way, and they showed like footage of the original and then morphed it into the new game. I mean, they've completely remade this game, essentially.
I actually love when it's your birthday because you get a good memory on Facebook.
Oh yes, I do. I always get to see that bit strip.
It's that bit strip, and it's just like, there's the one that like later on, it's like looking through my memories, it's like I see that basically the only constant is me.
Pretty much. But yeah, we got the updated 4K visuals. We got new online multiplayer, which, whatever.
What? Who cares?
I don't care about that. The most important thing is that these two games, will see the return of, quote, the vast majority of the game's iconic soundtrack. So, understandably, not every track was available to return due to licensing issues, but they say that the vast majority of the game's music is returning, which is great.
That's good.
As long as we have Superman by Goldfinger, that's all that matters. That's just one of those things, man. Whenever I hear that song, that's just one of the... It's that and No Cigar by Millencolin. Whenever I hear those two songs, I'm just transported to like late 90s, early 2000s.
Takes you back. Where you're like that fucking toothpaste commercial I saw.
What?
This, the dumbest toothpaste commercial I ever seen. It's like, removes 10 years of yellow stains off your teeth, and it just took a motherfucker back, and he was like sitting there with a kid using like a shake weight. It's like, what? It's like, what
all right,
the fuck?
Then. It is sort of like that. I feel like a kid again. I feel like listening, when I was like a young kid or a young teenager listening to these soundtracks. And like I said, it totally defined my musical taste. Like, in a weird way, those Tony Hawk games, the Pro Skater games, the Tony Hawk's Underground games, like I played these games religiously, really up to like Proving Ground. I played these games I played every last one of them. And I loved them. And like those soundtracks are a huge part of the person I am today. If I could make a top 5 like most influential game series, Tony Hawk's got to be on that list. So, absolutely. So I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to be $40, which is completely reasonable. They have a dumbass collector's edition for this game that comes with a straight up skateboard deck, which is hilarious. It's like an exclusive, I think, Birdman designed skateboard
Project
deck.
8 came out in 2006?
That sounds about right, yeah.
Fuck. That's the last one I played.
I have such a vivid memory of that, by the way. Project 8, when I think about that game, I think about being in Alaska and having a copy of that game. And I remember the big deal about that game. Everything kind of coalesced in one thing. So that game came out around the same time, almost exactly the same time as Plus 44's album came out. And I was a huge fan of those dudes. And I just remember going to, I think it was like a Fred Meyer or something like that up in Alaska, picking up the Plus 44 album and picking up a copy of Proving Ground and then playing the game. And there is a Plus 44 song in the game. So I think Lycanthrope is in that game. And it was just kind of funny. It was like a weird full circle moment where I'm like listening to the album and then I play the game that I'm currently playing and then the song is on there. It's like, okay. Anyway, that's what I think of when I think of that game. Anyway, this is a day one purchase for me. Looks like they've done a good job with it. I hope they didn't fuck it up. But the trailer gives me a lot of faith. Now, this is really interesting. I definitely want to stop and talk about this for a bit. Because another Summer Game Fest kind of thing, it was like, Jeff Keighley was like, oh, Wednesday we have like a huge reveal, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people are wondering about, like, is it going to be a game? Like, what is it? Turned out, it's the reveal of Unreal Engine 5, which was, it kind of showed this like 9 to 10 minute demo showing Unreal Engine 5 in action, running in real time on PS5 hardware. What'd you think about this?
Looking real nice.
Holy shit.
Real pretty.
I mean, like, it was impressive, man. It was definitely impressive.
Looked amazing.
Like, visually, I just remember I was watching and I was like, where do we go from here? You know what I mean? Like, how do games look better than this?
Photorealism, my boy. No,
it's very realistic and fully playable, by the way. There's more gameplay in this 10 minutes than we saw in the entire Xbox conference last week. So,
ooh, shit.
This was now they did say Tim Sweeney there, the CEO at Epic, sitting there with his Popeyes. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
The man had himself some Popeyes before he dropped that on there. I do love that chicken from Popeyes. I have to admit. Can I just say real quick, just as a quick aside, Popeyes chicken sandwich, better than Chick-fil-A.
Fuck you.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that now.
I don't agree with it.
I think that your opinion is invalid because you did not get it fresh.
I've gotten it fresh.
Oh, then you're just wrong. Then.
I've gotten it again. I just, it's whatever.
The chicken is crunchy, which I like. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't take this as a slight against Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A.
I don't know. I take it as a slight. You're attacking them.
Well, that means I'm attacking God.
God is on my side this day.
I have the power of God and anime on my side. No, but the chicken, I think, at Popeyes is crispy. It has a better texture to it. I like the density of the bread. I like that it is a sauce, like it's a spicy mayonnaise that gives you the heat from Popeye. I think this is the big differentiator. I think that you would agree with Anastasia that you like your spice baked into the chicken, right?
Yeah. Yes.
See, for me, I prefer it to be coming from the sauce. I think that is the crucial differentiator of if you're going to prefer Popeyes or Chick-fil-A. I also think Popeyes has better pickles than Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? This podcast is over.
Anyway, tangent over. Tim Sweeney with his Popeyes there, unveiling this breathtaking demo. Really cool to see. Like I told you, I don't think we're ever going to see a game fully reach that sort of benchmark. I don't know that we're ever going to see a game completely live up to the promise of this demo. Because the thing you got to understand about these demos, it may have been fully playable and stuff like that. There's no like enemy AI. There's no like, there's no like huge world to explore with like various assets that are in place. I mean, this is like, of course you can squeeze the most out of this as possible because you're not having to make as many things as a normal game has to make. Voice acting and stuff like that, animation rigging. So the one tidbit that I did want to kind of extract from this, though, that I found very, very interesting. There's been a lot of hullabaloo, Todd, around the specs of the PS5 versus the Xbox Series X. A lot of hullabaloo. Because on paper, it looks like the Series X outclasses the PS5, right? But the thing that we were sort of hearing from people in the know is like, hey, even though it looks like the Xbox Series X is better on paper, don't count the PS5 out yet because they've got proprietary SSD technology in there that is really going to set the PS5 apart. And Tim Sweeney backs this up. Tim Sweeney, by the way, would know better than almost anybody how impressive this actually is. And he says, quote, I think, first of all, Sony has a massive, massive increase in graphics performance compared to previous generations. But, I guess we get that every generation. But Sony's made another breakthrough that in many ways is more fundamental, which is a multi-order magnitude increase in storage bandwidth and reduction in storage latency. So, if you want to get into the weeds on it there, the custom SSD that Mark Cerny unveiled that is going to be in the PS5 targets at least 5 gigs per second bandwidth, which is incredible.
Fucking hell.
Comparatively, the PS4 hard drives get about 500 to 100 megabits a second. So this is many, many times faster than PS4's hard drive. Tim Sweeney continues. He says, the PS5 puts a vast amount of flash memory very, very close to the processor, so much that it really fundamentally changes the trade-offs that games can make and stream in, and that is absolutely critical to this kind of demo. This is not just a whole lot of polygons in memory, it's also a lot of polygons being loaded every frame as you walk through the environment, and this sort of detail you don't see in the world would absolutely not be possible at any scale without the breakthroughs that Sony has made.
Wow.
So this is what's important to notate about the PS5. While it may not have the numbers that it may not have the fucking teraflops that Xbox Series X has, the SSD in this thing, this custom SSD that Sony has worked on, is so unique and groundbreaking and powerful. Tim Sweeney actually says that it is far ahead of the best SSDs you can currently buy on high-end PCs today.
It's fucking insane to me.
This is the first time, maybe ever, that consoles have been surpassing PCs in any respect.
Mm-hmm.
So really impressive. I think the PS5, I think that is going to be the thing that differentiates PS5 over Xbox Series X. What they've done here with the storage, with the SSD, is really impressive. Now, I want to go tit for tat with this, Todd, though, because this sounds great, right? This sounds amazing. There could be downsides to this. A major downside I think that we're going to see with this being a custom SSD, I think that you're going to see a lack of modular support for the PS5.
Yeah.
So I feel like you could probably put in like an external hard drive if you wanted to for like save data and stuff like that. But if you're talking about loading things from the SSD, which may be a requirement for some of these games, to even run properly. Yeah, to even properly run, then you're going to have to use their proprietary SSD. And is that the sort of thing that we're going to have to pay if we want more memory space? Because famously, the PS4 was very easy to kind of like mod and put bigger hard drives in. I think it's literally just a laptop hard drive. It's like as long as you have like one of those, I think it's like a FAT32 laptop hard drive. As long as you have one of those, you can just pop that in your PS4 and you're good to go. That does not sound like that's going to be possible with PS5. So I think that's going to be a potential issue. And with it only being, I believe they said it's only like an 825 gig SSD. That's going to fill up pretty quick, right? So that's a little worrying to me, especially since these games are obviously going to have larger file sizes than we're used to. I think that's going to be a concern. I also think we might run into an issue here where Sony's first parties are going to be the only ones really taking advantage of this. Kind of like we saw on PS3. I think I was actually talking to you about this off recording where I was like, if you remember back on PS3, it's like, hey, we have this amazing cell technology, right? That is capable of things that 360 can't even dream of, right? That's all great, but nobody wanted to develop for the fucking thing. Because it's such a pain in the ass. Why would, if you're a third party, right? If you're a third party developer, say you are Activision and you're making Call of Duty. You're making Call of Duty, you want to release Call of Duty on all platforms. You want those system architectures to be as similar as possible so that you don't have to completely restructure the game when you're porting it to PS5. So if they're going to have to if they're going to have to learn how to work this SSD for the PS5 version, it's going to be more of a pain in the ass for third parties to take advantage of it. So that's why I'm sort of feeling like, okay, maybe we're only truly going to see first parties take full advantage of this SSD, which would be a shame because it sounds like this is going to be really revolutionary tech and really exciting. So anyway, thoughts? What are your thoughts on this SSD?
Oh, dude, I'm just excited to see. Just like, I do agree with you on that. Like, I do think we're going to end up running into the problem with like only first parties fucking with it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a damn shame. It reminds me of your bullshit with like the fucking HT Rumble.
Yeah, it's similar, but it's also HD Rumble is a little more of a superfluous thing. This is pretty like major.
No, this is gonna be a major thing. If somebody's not fucking with it, it's like,
yeah, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that Sony has made this very friendly for developers to take full advantage of and really differentiate the PS5 from the competition.
That's the main thing that we've actually seen from PS5 so far.
Yeah, they're saying like no load times. Like the SSD is so fast that it's capable of basically loading as you're playing. So,
I bet really I swear to God, I might not see a loading screen. And that's shit.
Really cool. I mean, could you imagine though playing like Spider-Man 2 and just like swinging around New York with just nothing, just completely seamless? You know, like no loads between cutscenes, no stuttering, just smooth. Never have to see a single load.
I'd love it.
Anyway, really cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing more. It's got to be soon. We've got to see this fucking box soon. Within the next, I would say, month or two. If we're here July 15th, if we're here on July 15th and we still have not seen the box, I don't even know, man.
We'll never see it then. No.
We got to see this box. Anyway, moving along, we got some another cool announcement. Kind of speaking of announcements here, a remastered collection. Collection's maybe the wrong word because it's kind of come to light that maybe this is not going to be a collection, but all 3 games in the Mafia series are being remastered. That was revealed this week with a 30-second teaser trailer from publisher 2K and Hangar 13. Trailer is very vague. It just kind of shows brief snippets of all 3 protagonists from the Mafia series. And we're going to get more information apparently on May 19th at 9 a.m. Pacific. So we will certainly be talking about that a little bit more next week on the show. The trilogy is coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And while it has not been officially confirmed yet, the Xbox Game Store listing has at least the first game slated to release in August and it sounds like Mafia 2 Remastered may be coming actually on May 19th. So it might just be like a thing of like, hey, these games are coming on these dates, and you can play Mafia 2 right now. So it seems like that might be the deal. The reason I think the Mafia 1 Remastered is coming a little bit later is because if you actually look, the Xbox Game Store listing showcases screenshots of Mafia 1 Remastered, and it does not look like it's being simply remastered like 2 and 3 are. It's actually being remade.
Makes sense.
Mafia 1 is looking like it was remade from the ground up. It looks completely brand new. And it looks great, by the way, with these screenshots. I'm really looking forward to it. Did you ever play Mafia 1?
I never played Mafia 1.
I really like that game a lot. And Mafia 2, I think, was the best. Mafia 3, I thought, was extremely boring. I played it for like 15 hours, and I the whole time I was playing, I was like, why the fuck am I playing this? and eventually I just like...
I remember when you were playing it.
I was literally just like, I have no idea why I'm playing this right now.
Oh, shit.
So I ended up putting it down kind of after having that moment of realization. I wound up putting it down and never really went back. Don't really intend on going back, but this Mafia 1 remaster looks really impressive to me. I might actually be interested in picking that up. So going to get a little bit more news on that next week. Final bit of news I have here, Todd, to wrap up the show. This is in the realm of remasters. This is something I want to stop and talk about with you for a second because according to French site Actu Gaming, the long-rumored Diablo 2 remaster is on track to release this fall. Now, Actu Gaming is the site that also leaked the existence of Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 last year. So they've got a little bit of street cred, as it were. They apparently have some sort of source in the know over there at Blizzard. But this time they're saying that the game is called Diablo 2 Resurrected. They say that the port is being handled by Vicarious Visions, which is a studio that has been in the Activision family now for some 15 years. And they've actually handled some impressive ports and remasters, including the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. Now, I talked to you a little bit about this off recording as well, because it is worth noting that Diablo 2 famously had the game's original assets like corrupted. They're completely gone.
And as I said, that makes the name even better.
You pointed that out, yeah. The Resurrected name.
The
truly
Resurrected,
makes sense.
I love it. I love it.
Interesting, because essentially, and we know this because I think even just a few years ago, there was a panel where like the creators of the Diablo series, I think it's two brothers that were like either lead designers or something like that. They had a big hand in the Diablo series, and I think that's who revealed that if the game ever was to be remastered, it would be extremely challenging because you're essentially going to have to remake that game from the ground up. So that's going to be really interesting to see if that's something that Blizzard's going to be interested in doing.
Day one purchase, if it does exist.
If it does exist, that's a day one purchase just to support it, frankly.
Yeah.
Because just the sheer amount of work that's going to go into that, if that's real. I mean, think about that. These people should have the source available for all of these games, and the source of Diablo 2 is corrupted, and you have no access to the game's original assets. You have to completely remake the shit. And not only do you have to completely remake the shit, you have to completely remake the shit and make sure it feels the same way it did.
Oof.
And make sure that the diehard fans, the people who have played this game for thousands upon thousands of hours.
Motherfuckers that are probably still playing that shit.
Yeah, the people that just know this game inside and out, right? They have to be able to not tell the difference.
I'll be honest, I don't think you could ever satisfy them.
They have to be able to not tell the difference, and whatever visuals like pass you're going to give to the game to remake it or remaster or whatever also has to please the fans. So I'm just like, this is a Herculean task, man. I really, if they end up doing this, it'll be really impressive, especially coming off the heels of Warcraft 3, was it called Reforged, I think? That Warcraft 3 remaster, which apparently is a piece of shit.
Dog shit, dude.
So
fucking dog shit from what I hear.
So I don't know, man. I'm really I'm really gonna be curious to see what they do with Diablo 2. I'm somebody who has put a ton of time into Diablo 2. That game is great. I love that game. I have such a soft spot in my heart for that game. That is the kind of thing that I would definitely plop money down for day one if it's real. If nothing else, just to support the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I mean, Vicarious Vision they're the team to do it. If this is the task at hand, they are certainly the team to do it. These guys are used to remaking games. Take a look at the Crash Insane trilogy. I mean, they did such a beautiful job, I think, with that game, and they're definitely the right folks for the job. So Diablo 2, I guess, is in good hands if it really is being resurrected over there. I'm just ready for Diablo 4, man.
That's some real shit.
Diablo 4.
I'm looking forward to seeing what other like characters they're going to announce for that game. What
Yeah.
other classes.
What have we got so far? I know we got the Return of the Druid, right?
Yep.
Which I think I'm already kind of sold on Druid. I think I'm just going to go Druid, man.
It's like at this point, I'm just like, give me like a Paladin or a Crusader or something, and we're good.
You know what your wheelhouse is.
I know come on, I stay in that wheelhouse.
Gotta have some sort of, I hope it's a Templar. You were a Templar, John Doe.
Either way, just give me something in that fucking wheelhouse, you know? Like Paladin, Crusader, Templar.
Currently confirmed as Barbarian, Sorceress, and Druid.
Yeah.
So, very excited. That's probably the sort of thing that I will be playing on PS5, presuming that the game is a simultaneous console launch, as well as PC.
I still think about that fucking trailer. God damn.
It's a gorgeous trailer, man. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that, hopefully this year. I don't think the game's going to come out this year. I think that's probably a 2021 game, if not 2022. Yeah. Diablo, look, the long wait for Diablo 3 has taught me to never count my Diablo eggs before they hatch, as it were. So, anyway, that's pretty much all I've got, Todd. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap this bad boy up?
My kitty can go fuck itself.
We ran into some cat issues. That's okay. Nothing I can't edit out.
I will say this. I got a little vocal. That bitch flopped at my feet in submission.
That's all right, Todd. The audience doesn't have to hear you fly off the handle. I'll take care. I feel like I've stumbled across I walked into an alley and I saw you murdering somebody.
Oh, dude. I honestly feel bad for you because I was pissed.
It's all right. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of the body. Nobody ever has to know. Be like Tom Cruise in the Church of Scientology.
Shit.
Tom Cruise and John Travolta. They're the overlords over there.
They got that real power.
They have power that you can't buy, Todd. They have power that you can only get if you take up arms against Xenu, the alien overlord. Anyway, with all that being said, thanks for listening, folks. We'll catch you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.